even with his lack of a win currently, if you're ever going to bounce back, this is the year. And it's simply because no one has a huge playoff point advantage. Surprisingly, 17 weeks in, even winless, I think the opportunity is still out there.
Hey race fans, welcome into Backseat Drivers. I have two of my favorite people here on the table from NBC Sports. A late night for him in the booth, by the way, and still made it here this morning, Steve Letarte, and then our resident analyst, Mamba Smith, and we're gonna break down Nashville, but I don't know if you guys know this, but our race fans have now been given the opportunity to text us. You can text, there are several, cool. I think you have a name that we can text too, that you can keep up with Steve and Mamba and all the gang here on Backseat Drivers, but the number is 31032, so bug the crap out of these two, okay?
Listen, I love the fans.
Yeah.
Text me, it's gonna be great.
Holla at your boy.
All right, well, let's get right into it. We obviously saw the 2020 champ and NASCAR's most popular driver, Chase Elliott, make his return to victory lane the second time for the 2022 season. But the call that changed everything, it looked like it may have been the 18 or the 19, and Joe Gibbs Racing was going to kind of turn the corner after having a struggle day at Sonoma and maybe get a win at Nashville. But a late race pit decision really changed the game up there. Chase Elliott obviously stayed out. Alan Gustafson made the call to not bring him down to pit road, but Joe Gibbs Racing and pretty much the rest of the field came down pit road. So, Steve, let's start with you on this one. Watching it in the booth, your crew chief hat goes on. What were you thinking when basically the whole field came down pit road?
Well, I was shocked that the numbers pitted. You know, Rick posed the question to me, hey, would you pit? And I was very hesitant because tires didn't seem to be a huge value in Nashville. So I thought staying out was the right answer. And I think that was perhaps easiest for Chase Elliott because he had the lead and you don't want to give up the lead. I was surprised, though, more teams didn't stay out. Tough decision for Joe Gibbs Racing, but it's really the mid-pack guys. There's a lot of guys that just had okay days. I mean, why not gamble? Don't be afraid of success. Go up front. It's easy to Monday morning, Joe Gibbs Racing's decision. I've been in those decisions. I've made more than my fair share of wrong ones. I was shocked, though, that someone of the Joe Gibbs camp, one of those three cars, didn't opt to start on the front row. The front row Mamba is like the holy grail of restarts. That's where you want to be. Kurt Busch got the opportunity from sixth. That means that both the 11, the 19, and the 18 came to pit road. We heard after that Truex, I think there was a little miscommunication. Maybe he should have stayed on the racetrack, but either way they pitted. I mean, it's easy to say wrong decision now, but I was shocked somebody didn't take the front row.
Tennessee Titans.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to, I'm not a crew chief. I never was a crew chief. There's a reason for that. And I'm not going to Monday morning crew chief this thing. But don't you want the opportunity to go get the win and duel with the 9? Because if you're a mid-pack guy and you have had a mediocre day and you get to row 2 or 3 and you give whoever's in front of you a nice shove and maybe some things happen and you can skirt on by and maybe steal one. So I was surprised that didn't happen and no one wanted to take that opportunity. But I do want to ask, you mentioned a little bit about Truex and their little miscommunication. I feel like we're at this point now where we do these code words for pit, coming down pit road. Yeah, like we're doing.
And a switch to M&M's.
Yeah,
which
like, so like maybe just, hey bud, come down pit road.
Well, that's Dale and I's joke in the booth all the time. Is Dale and I, we had a code word as well. If I wanted to come to pit road, I would tell him to pit. And if I wanted him to stay out, I would say, hey, don't pit, stay on the racetrack. I do believe these drivers are being tested more than ever. Not just the temperature, not just the car and how difficult it is to drive. Now we're asking them to shift. What they're doing behind the wheel is taking more of their input than it ever has in the past. And I do believe, to your point, we're getting to the point where, maybe clear communication should win over hiding the code words or what you're planning on doing. Because, maybe it's changed, but if these other crew chiefs are being able to make their own decision, consume what everyone else is doing, and make their adjustment on the fly, that is a lot to ask somebody to take in. So yes, I would prefer just tell me if we're coming down pit road or not and how many tires we're putting on it. But hey, listen, we could talk about Gibbs all we want, but the flip side is it saved Ryan Blaney's day, made Kurt Busch's day better. So, for everyone who did pit, there were some that stayed out, and they had great finishes because of it.
We have had Hot Dog, 4th of July, Abraham Lincoln, Tennessee Titans, Dolly Parton, Shania Twain. Steve, P-I-T, pit.
I like it.
P-I-T. All right, well, it was a good day, however, for Joe Gibbs Racing. They showed a lot of speed in all 4 cars. Christopher Bell was up there, which obviously he's had some speed over the last couple of weeks. But then at one point, they were running 1, 2, and 3 on the racetrack. So following Sonoma, I have talked to Denny Hamlin, one of the drivers out of that camp, and it's been all about consistency for them, which they haven't been able to find. So is this a disappointing day following Nashville that they didn't get the win? Or is it kind of an optimist day for Joe Gibbs Racing and maybe can turn the corner, Mamba?
For me, I'm optimistic for them because I've been on this show a bunch throughout the beginning of the year, being like, I'm worried about Toyota. I'm worried about Toyota. I'm not so worried about them anymore. The 45, the 23 showed speed. The JGR cars are showing speed. Their speed is becoming consistent, and they're turning it at the right time of the year. Right before you make the playoffs, you're making your big playoff push. This is the time you want to be fast and you want to be able to execute. They still got to work on that execution part a little bit, but it's a lot easier to do that when you're not trying to make your car go from a 20th place car to a 10th place car.
All 4 in the playoffs?
All 4 of the
Joe
Gibbs
Gibbs
car? I don't think so, no.
Okay, interesting.
So optimism is had at Joe Gibbs Racing and TRD if you're responsible for pace. If you're the engineer working on the aero balance, working on the handling, working on the tire information, tip of the hat. You gave those race teams, those drivers, those crew chiefs a great foundation to go have a great day. The struggle is be careful what you wish for. What Joe Gibbs Racing has is a fleet full of spectacular race car drivers. 2 are champions. 1 is a future Hall of Famer, even if he doesn't have a championship with Denny Hamlin. For that reason, they're not going to look at how fast they were. They're going to look at how fast they were, and then yet they didn't win. So I think this is going to be a disappointment, and that's a positive. I know this sounds weird. Everybody should look at the glass being half full. Not in this sport. It's not easy. It's not intramural football. I say this all the time. You can't be okay with being beat. You can't be okay with being outrun. Whether it comes on a pit call, whether it comes on slow race cars, doesn't matter. You know, the front page in the newspapers, the stories, the back page of the sports section, what matters. That's the results, and the results are they didn't win. And it was an impressive turnaround. It was impressive speed. But I guarantee if you call up one of those 4 Joe Gibbs Racing drivers today, they're not going to tell you how great they ran. They're going to tell you how they didn't win the race, crew chiefs alike. So I appreciate your optimism, but optimism isn't going to get you into winning more races in the playoffs. I think it's okay to be disappointed, right? You don't want to point the finger and blame, but it's okay to not be happy losing. I know that's unpopular. It is okay. And that's what makes great athletes.
I think if you look at 2 guys that had really good weekends, you know, looking across the board, Kurt Busch, right, finished second, and you watch his interview, he's really disappointed himself for not laying a fender to the 9 or not maybe taking more of his racing space up. Zane Smith in the truck race, the same thing. He finished second. He's had a great year all year, and he's still kicking him. He's way overperformed, and he's still kicking himself over second place. So, you know, losing is not fun.
And you're always the optimist.
I am, but losing still sucks.
Yeah. All right, well, let's continue the talk of one of the Toyota drivers. Bubba Wallace was not happy in Nashville. If you were listening to his radio or saw any of the chatter that was going on the scanner over there for the 23 team, woof, because it was just a really long night. I can't exactly say what Bubba said, but I'm going to paraphrase. He basically told his crew chief, Booty Barker, don't talk to me the whole race, which Booty then replied, well, I'm still going to talk to you. So what was going on with Bubba in the 23?
So there's 2 sides to this coin. The first side, I'm going to defend Bubba, that this issue on pit road for the 23 is not a 1-week thing. Bubba didn't lose his mind because they had a great car, and this is the first time they've had a hiccup on pit road. This has been a reoccurring issue for the 23 car, and I believe the fuse was longer than all of us understand, and he finally got to the end of his fuse. Now, the other side of the coin is it's still just unacceptable. The simple fact is, a lot of people spend a lot of money. A lot of men and women work a lot of hours to get the best finish possible. And when you get to that emotional state of frustration, while it can be defended at times, it then removes the opportunity of the best finish possible. That's really what we're talking about here. Let's take emotion out, right? If I'm Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin, I am having a conversation with Booty. I am listening to his concerns, because like I said, Bubba's not wrong with some of the stuff he said. That's what makes this hard. But I'm confident in saying that Mike Wheeler and Booty Barker and 2311 I am confident they are trying to improve on their issues, right? I don't believe they're sitting on their hands just saying, well, it's magically going to get better. I believe they're trying. Bubba has every right to be frustrated. The point is there's a time and a place, and what happened in Nashville cost the 23 positions at the end of the race. And, execution is a great word, and we throw it around like it's easy to do. It is not. These races are very hard to not just win, but to execute. No, I won't even say flawlessly, just average.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to lose a race. So I love Bubba. They had a great car, great speed. I think that's what made the pain worse. But you cannot get to that point of communication at Mamba. You get to a point where you're now doing added damage to yourself and your own race team.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is professional sports. It's the highest level of stock car racing, and it's not just for the drivers and the crew chiefs. It's the crews. It's everybody. This is the peak of the mountain is what we're doing right now. There's pressure for everybody to perform, and whether you're going over the wall or on the box. And when things don't go right, the frustration mounts, and then you've had maybe a struggle all year, and you're like, oh, here's some daylight. We finally got a good car. For him, they didn't get to qualify. It came from the back. All right, here he comes. Ooh, comes up. Pit road. All these things, to your point, mount. And it's not like Bubba's the first driver to do it, and he won't be the last driver to get upset with his crew for not executing. And their jobs are really hard. They got 10 seconds, and if you do your job longer than 10 seconds, then it's not good enough. That's really where we're at. So, the frustration needs to be, he's an emotional guy. We know that. He wears it on his sleeve, on his face, on his body, all over. But you got to be able to control that in certain situations because you got to be a leader too. And that's the other thing that I want to ask you, as a crew chief, you're basically like a coach, right? You're managing your people, and that's something that we always talk about offsets. That was one of your best qualities. How do you manage the people like that?
Well, I think the most important thing is you let Bubba know that his analysis of the performance is not wrong. You let him know that you're not happy with it, you being the entire race team, right? We're not okay with this, right? So we are trying to get better. But I think when it comes down to Bubba, I don't question his talent. I actually think his passion, while it can be encouraged at times, emotion and execution don't go well together. I know that's hard to believe, but when you look at premier athletes in other sports and even the premier athletes within NASCAR, in my mind, they have become the meticulous type drivers. The drivers that are running well week in and week out are the ones that can control their emotion and continue to operate at a very high level. I think that's the next step for Bubba. I think he needs to work on that. The good news is I believe that's a learned skill set. I worked very hard in my career to gain the skills of becoming calm on the radio, to trying to lead a team, and I think Bubba can get it. And, listen, Bubba's under a lot of pressure. His teammates won. Michael Jordan was in the house, right? So the most famous athlete in the world who owns your race team is there. He have a fast race car. All the Toyotas are fast. I can see why it bubbled up. This will be a turning point. I'll say it. This will be a T in the road for the 23 team. I think it can be a positive if they circle the wagons and improve and come out of here. But if it doesn't move forward positively, it can also be, the splinter that kind of makes the season go apart. I think it's really up to that organization. We could talk about it all we want. It's what they do internally from here that really matters. It doesn't matter what we see. So I'll be really looking forward the next 2 or 3 weeks when things go bad, what the reaction is.
As a crew chief, though, how do you not take those things personal?
So I've always accepted the fact that I had the opportunity to climb off the pit box, get a water, take a deep breath, walk around. Drivers don't. Drivers are trapped in their vehicle. And it's very easy to feel like you're on an island. It's hot. You're by yourself. The only communication is non-personal. It's verbal over a radio. And you want it so bad. What makes Bubba a fan favorite is that passion, right? He wants it so bad. But we said this about Suarez a few weeks ago. How would Daniel Suarez run better? And I said he needs to try even a little less. Just be confident in what you have. When I saw him at Sonoma in those closing laps, that's what he did. He just drove flawless laps. There was no mistakes, no overdriving. I think that's what the 23 needs a little bit. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but you have to try it. As a crew chief, it's very hard. I'll applaud Booty because he could have easily fanned the flames and it could have turned into a forest fire. He didn't. And that's right. Really, that's why we're talking about Bubba, because if Booty snaps back, now we're talking about a more global thing. So Booty kind of did his part. Mike Wheeler's going to have a busy week, right? He's going to have a busy week. Luckily for him, 45 had a good run. So, look at us. So Kurt Busch, He's the calm driver, 2311. Look at Kurt Busch. Congratulations to veteran Kurt Busch. Just another solid day. Their other driver, though, they just need to have a little bit. But I think a lot of people believe in Bubba. He just needs to channel it the right way.
All right, let's do a little rapid response powered by 5 Hour Energy. This one, apparently it's not going to be tough at all. We talked about before filming, but I thought this one was tough. Rank your current top 4 organizations in the NASCAR Cup Series right now. This is not numbers or specific teams. This is organizations as a whole.
Hendrick won. No disagreement?
No disagreement.
I think we can all put Hendrick at 1, multiple race winners.
Yeah.
So then let's go from there. I have Gibbs, Trackhouse, Penske. Gibbs, tons of speed, a couple champs. Trackhouse, I love what they're doing, and they're growing. But they're third. That's not bad for a brand new race team or a couple-year-old race team. And then Team Penske. It's kind of tight between SHR and Penske. If we could get the 4 a little bit better, maybe I could get them equal. But right now, Team Penske is my 4th.
Yeah, so Hendrick, got to put more respect on Trackhouse. They're just a week in and week out there. Now they're there with both cars. Got to give it to them. And then 3, I am going with Gibbs. And then my 4th one, and even though I said like I don't see all 4 of them making it, 4 cars in, that's a tall task. That's a lot. And then Penske is 4, but it's not by much. But we got the wins for Penske. Stuart Haas only has 1, and then the 12 is having a very good points year historically, and that is my guy.
And Blaney drives it.
And Blaney drives it. So
I'm actually well done not making them 1. I appreciate you sliding them down to 4 for Blaney.
if Blaney had 2 wins, they'd be 1. I don't care what.
Please, get us out of this.
All right, 2, pieces of silly season fell down the pipe this weekend at Nashville. That was the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will, for the foreseeable future, be the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr., at least through a multi-year deal with JTG Doherty. So 2023, 2024, I don't know how far it goes, but multi-year for Ricky. And then another piece that I got a lot of flack for this. I was told it was like not a surprise, but kind of 50-50 for me. Would you have been surprised if he would have retired? No. Martin Truex Jr. is coming back through 2023 at least in the number 19 car. So is he poised for a playoff run now that he can wipe the slate clean of I'm tired of talking about this because I'm coming back? 3 words. That's all it took.
So I'm with you, 50-50. I wouldn't have been shocked if Martin said he wasn't. I'm happy that he is. I think it's good for the fans. I love the fact that in his interview, he seemed at peace with the decision. And the second part I loved is he didn't talk about wins.
Yeah.
He talked about he wanted to go get a championship. He talked about those seconds and the points. That tells me that his mindset is ready to make a deep run to the playoffs. And if there's ever a year to do it, it's this year. No other team has a huge bucket of playoff points. So even though he hasn't found victory lane in the first 17 weeks, a hot summer, and he could be the leader going into the playoffs. So the opportunity's there. Now, pointing his way in is not going to be fun, and I don't think that's going to really give them the jump start they're looking for. I think they're looking for wins. But you just have to wonder how much, Mamba, this decision of returning has just been weighing on him. Not pressure, but it's a big life decision. Yeah. Now he's made it. He seemed kind of at peace with it.
Yeah, no.
Round of 8. That's a deep run. Round of 8.
That is a deep run.
I'm trying to think of the tracks. I think experience gets Truex to the round 8.
Okay, there we go. Shout out to Ricky Stenhouse and JTG. I think that's great for them. It means they're going to be here for a while, and Ricky's going to be here for a while, and hopefully they continue to grow. Truex, I love it. I was shocked. I'm happily surprised that he is coming back because we claim him in New England. He's one of our guys.
Which track?
All of the New England tracks. So anything up north, that's Martin Truex's home. So him coming back, I was honestly more like 40-60. I thought 60% sure he wasn't coming back. So him coming back, I'm surprised. Deep run. They'll get through 12. They'll probably be an 8, and I agree with Steve. It's more experience and being there before. If they can get everything kind of lined up, they'll at least have a shot at it.
Don't get the fire lit. Look out. You had a chance to while he was down.
Yeah.
Don't let him get on a run.
Agreed.
There's some guys you just don't pull on.
Yeah.
He starts. All right, well, this poses the next question. For which domino is next to fall in silly season? We know that we're not done with the news stories when it comes to rides being filled because we have 2 that we haven't even been given a hint at. I guess a little bit with the 18 of Kyle Busch, but then the 10 of Eric Almirola, that seat will be empty after this season. So what's the next domino that falls? I'm still surprised we're talking about Kyle Busch. I don't know what the deal is.
Truex signing makes the 18 even more precarious in my mind, right? Kyle Busch, it's just a question of, can Joe Gibbs afford to pay Kyle Busch what he thinks he's worth to come back to the 18, and how bad does Kyle Busch want to drive in the 18? Because I don't think anyone at Gibbs would go without, would pick another driver over him. It just really comes down to Moneyball. At some point, people don't want to talk about money in sports. It's money.
Yeah.
Can they raise enough capital to pay Kyle what he's thinking he's worth? Is Kyle willing to move off what he's thinking he's worth to stay at Joe Gibbs Racing? In my mind, that's the only question out here. And the real looming one is the 10. Because if the 10 gets filled, I'm not saying Kyle Busch couldn't oust another driver out of his ride. He's probably that good, two-time champion. But, kind of where is he going? If you're Corey Gibbs and Joe Gibbs, you have to think, who are you negotiating against if the 10's filled? So, we talked about this before. The 19, that domino has fallen. I think that makes the 18 a little bit more in the spotlight. And now for the 10, I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen at the 10?
Steve Letarte driving the number 10.
Yeah.
Book it, put it in.
Better buy a lot of equipment.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, there's no reset button on that one. But, it's so interesting, right? Like the 18, we thought we would have been done talking about this, and we're not. We're still in it. Selfishly, because I've been saying it for a while, I'd love to see Kyle Busch be an owner and maybe bring in some other mega star from something else to keep that whole thing rolling. I think that'd be way cool. So maybe that's why they're kind of waiting it out. And, the 10, though, that's the interesting part. I would pay attention to what happens with the 10. The longer the 10 stays available, the more interest it is about the Kyle Busch possibly filling that seat, because that's, in everyone's mind, that's where you would go, right? That's the only top tier team that's open. So if the 10 gets filled, what are we doing? And now that the 47 is filled with Ricky, so Ricky's not coming over, what direction does Ford want to go? They want a young guy? Well, where are you going to get him? The only young guy really you're looking at is Zane Smith, right? Are you going to try and pull John Hunter back? I don't know. I don't know, but I would pay attention to the 10. I think that kind of dictates a lot of things.
I wish the contract's more public, right? Like, what's Noah going to Xfinity Series? What's Josh Berry's deal with JRM? Jones, is he back at GMS? We heard Reddick resign. There's just a lot of question marks about the details. And listen, silly season isn't a week. It's a whole season. That's going to continue.
The season is all year.
All right, Backseat Bets presented by BetMGM. You can also scan the QR code that you see here on your screen. You can scan that to make picks, play along with us. You can also get an alert, which will let you know when these Backseat Bets articles go up on NASCAR.com every single week. So not only can you talk to Steve, Mamba, and the Backseat crew here, but you can also play along with us, because the only person here at the table that's really good at these is Steve, apparently.
Hey, my fantasy
you're
team.
You're actually pretty good.
Oh, I just want to point out
good.
I wasn't here, but I'll screenshot it and put it on social. 4 for 4 in my heads-up picks on my fantasy team.
I'm proud
of 4 last week.
I'm proud of you, big dog.
You know why I say that? Because it took 17 weeks.
Yeah,
to go 4 for 4.
Yes. He knows exactly which week it was.
Man.
Well, this first one is interesting, just strictly for the fact of what happened on Twitter. Corey LaJoie versus Alex Bowman, a not good race car driver apparently, versus a guy who wants to sell T-shirts. I don't know what we're going here. Corey LaJoie versus Alex Bowman.
Bowman. Unless LaJoie is going to junk Bowman again, I think Bowman just for he wins a bunch of races. He runs up front. He drives for Hendrick Motorsports. You got to take Alex Bowman.
It's Bowman. 48.
Yeah, agreed.
We'll both somehow be wrong. So what's wrong with these picks? But
Yeah.
Road America, though. This is for Road America head-to-head, so.
A lot of gravel pits around there.
That's
I see
true.
it. Day and your day could go back
Making a
quick.
mistake there is pretty easy.
Yeah, but Bowman, listen, I don't know why I never seem to give Bowman credit. He wins 2 or 3 races every year. I'm going to give Bowman the credit here that I believe this is
not really
one-sided pick.
That's not credit. That's just smart.
Thank you.
Same. All right, next up, these two also had an incident on the racetrack at Nashville, and this was the sassiness I never really saw coming between Chase Briscoe and Ty Dillon. Who edges out, the 14 or the 42?
It's the 14 for me. He's shown he's good on road courses. He already has a win this year. He's one of the more rising stocks in the sport. It's Chase Briscoe.
Chase Briscoe for sure. But I will say, Ty had every right to be upset.
Yeah.
He did nothing wrong. Chase wrecked him, not on purpose.
No. Wrong place, wrong time.
But I love Chase, and I love his style. But if I was a crew chief, I'd be like, hey, man, let's just try to stay a little off the radar for a few weeks. Just because, you just don't want to – other people see it, is my point.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a dirty driver. He doesn't mean anything of it, which is kind of the reason I'm tiptoeing around him. If he did it on purpose, I would definitely be more direct, but I don't think he did it on purpose. But, man, you just got to – Let's try to just stay off the radar for a few weeks. We're in the playoffs.
Give me some laps. Give me
well, no,
50.
here's the thing. Let's look at it this way.
Give me 50.
I would tell him we're playoff bound.
Yeah.
Why are we making the 42 mile of us?
Yeah.
We're playoff bound. Let's not make any enemies. Let's just kind of work our way through here. It wasn't on purpose.
Do you say the same thing to Ross?
I think Ross, absolutely. Ross, if you're going to make an enemy, it better come with a trophy. I think that's the problem I have with Ross. It's Ross is Ross, but if we're going to make someone mad, let's not do it for third or fifth. And he almost said that in his interview, right?
Did,
Pick and choose his moments. If we're defending the move you make, let's defend it when we're polishing the trophy and put it on the case, because it's easier defendable. It's hard to defend,
Third place.
Yeah, I mean, 5th place, 10th place.
They're good runs, but it's not worth that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm also going Chase Briscoe, so look for the 42 to be strong at Road
This
America.
happens every
All
week.
3 picked him. Next up, Kyle Busch versus Christopher Bell, the 18 versus the 20. A lot of talk right now about Kyle Busch. Obviously, he is, as Steve pointed out, there's a spotlight there, but there's always a spotlight on Kyle Busch. So who are you going with?
It's actually closer than I would initially anticipate, because Christopher Bell actually runs relatively good on road courses. But it's hard. I can't ever go against Kyle Busch because it's Kyle Busch. So I'm going Kyle Busch because it's Kyle Busch.
So, crazy enough, I'm also going Kyle Busch, but not because of the drivers. I think Bell will have the pace that Busch has.
Yeah.
I said this on television yesterday, and I'm sure there's at least 5 guys that are not happy with me. But Christopher Bell's pit crew has to be more consistent.
Yeah.
It's ranked just barely inside the top 15. When you look at the numbers, Christopher Bell and Joe Gibbs Racing need to be better than that if you think you're going to win up front. So I'm going to pick the 18 just because I think across the board they're stronger. But this is not as easy of a pick as it once might have been.
Yeah, it looks on paper, you're like, oh, that's easy. And then you're like, oh, the track and the team, that's kind of close.
Yeah, right.
Joe Gibbs Racing has not had the success on a road course with this next-gen car. So this one was tough for me, but I'm going to go just to shake it up, the 20 of Christopher Bell. Why not? This next one is going to be the fan vote, so who you guys want to see the matchup with the reigning winner here in the NASCAR Cup Series. He's the latest multi-win winner, Chase Elliott, in the 9. So this one's tough to pick, but let's just say the field versus Chase Elliott.
I don't think Chase Elliott wins, so I'll take the field. And if I'm fan voting, I would like to see him matched up. I could give you 2 shots, right? Let's match him up against Truex, the road racers of the past, which really have been as dominant as of late. Or I'll give you another one. I'll go back to my track house. Let's say Ross Chastain, because he seems to always be up front there. I think that would be another good matchup. But look, Chase Elliott's done a great job. Why would he go back-to-back? No one can seem to do it in 22. So this isn't a knock on Chase.
Yeah.
This is the season in which we have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going with the field because mainly because he hasn't had the same pace that he did on road courses as he did before, and it's kind of random. Plus, my winner is in the field this week, so I'm gonna hold.
You got a winner.
I got a winner pick, so I'm gonna hold that. So I'm going with the field.
Interesting that we're doing a fan vote that doesn't involve Chase Elliott, because obviously we knew what would happen if the fan vote did include Chase Elliott. All right, Road America is up next. So a road course, we have the momentum in the 9 camp right now, and we're heading to a road course, which he is now the concrete king that we've now dubbed him. I don't know who said that. Who said that?
Not me. I'm not. Not me. Rick.
Yeah.
Maybe Rick. I'll give it.
Maybe Rick.
The driver who couldn't win on an oval. He has more wins on an oval than he does on a road course now.
Oh, see.
Just saying.
It's
All
time.
right.
Well, it's like we all forgot he's a champion too.
I know.
He's pretty good at this stuff.
Yeah, and he won an Xfinity championship too. Like he's a NASCAR champion.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Road America, and whether or not you're picking Chase Elliott, let's hear your victory lane picks for the road course on July 4th weekend. Who wants to go first?
I think we got the same guy.
Nope.
Okay, cool.
I'm confident we don't.
Okay, good, because I'm always going.
You guys stopped writing it down on your paper.
See, if he's in the field on a road course, I'm picking him. Give me AJ Allmendinger all the time. At Sonoma, he ran that whole race, most of that race, without power steering, and was running 10th and dropped one wheel on the last lap and finish further back. So give me power steering, give me Dinger, give me a win.
Okay, so for sure, Allmendinger, great pick. My emotional pick is Alex Bowman. He got taken out at COTA, running really, really well. He just got wrecked last week. Maybe this is the bounce back he needs. But if you want a sleeper, Austin Cindric. Road America, Austin Cindric is going to be my pick. I'm going for the driver of the 2. Daytona 500 kickoff. Go to Road America, 4th of July weekend. The 2 car will win.
So wait.
I didn't even write it down.
I'm not shocked because at the very first show, she picked Cindric to win Road America. She said he would win 2 road courses. I don't think it's right.
Here's why I'm going to tell you, right? Because Road America has the least amount of cup experience, right? It's not Watkins Glen, it's not Sonoma, not a lot of cup experience.
Yeah.
He runs really well at Road America. He has a lot of experience there. And here's the other thing. Of all the drivers, I think he has the least amount of enemies in the field. I don't think there's anyone that is like, oh, I'm coming after Austin Cindric, so why not? Look, trying to pick a winner this week is basically like throwing a dart. I mean, anybody could do it. Dinger's not bad. Bowman's emotional. But
This is me playing the violin.
And we talked to him
music to my ears.
over Zoom, and he was fired up about Road America. So he convinced me.
Of course he is. This is just like this is Austin Cindric's shot right here to get another win.
I wish we could roll the tape back right now and just put it up on this big monitor here.
I knew it.
But before the Daytona 500, I said yes, Austin Cindric wins a race this year, and it's at Road America.
She did pick it.
I would have changed my pick if I knew I was giving her ammunition to be right.
I'm telling you right now, if she's right, I might not come in next week. I might stay on the boat.
So my winning pick, Austin Cindric in the 2 for Road America. Come on, Cindric, don't let me down. Picked it back in January, you guys. January.
If he doesn't run the top 20, you got to bring in like some boat
I will.
something for me for breakfast.
I will. I'll do something. All right. Well, it's going to be an exciting holiday weekend. It's July 4th at Road America with NASCAR. If you can find me something more America than that, I will also bring you Bojangles for breakfast. Make sure and tune in this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern on USA. Enjoy the road course racing at Road America. Happy 4th of July, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you right back here next week. Actually, on the 4th. We'll celebrate the 4th with you guys right here on Monday. Tune in. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more clips, highlights, and full-length episodes. Also, check out NASCAR.com to stay up to date with all the latest news.